Hello, YouTubers and NFL fans everywhere. This is Matt, the NFL Fanatic, with my Super Bowl 49 thoughts and prediction. Well, 2 weeks ago in the championship weekend predictions, I won both games. And now overall for the year, I'm 177, 87, and 1, which equals up to 67%. And overall for the year, I will go either 178, 77, and 1, or 177, 78, and 1. And I'm very happy to have that record overall, just because, again, that shows that I won 100 games over 500. And that shows that it's a very successful year for me. And this is probably one of the highest years I've had since I've been doing these predictions. Just quick thoughts on all the stuff that's happened in the NFL over the last couple weeks. I'll first start talking about the Green Bay-Seattle game. What a thrilling game that was. That was the worst game I had ever seen the Seattle Seahawks play at home in a very long time. That was the worst game I had ever seen Russell Wilson play at home. Or actually in his whole career, let me rephrase that. But it really shows how much heart and how much, fortitude that Seattle Seahawks team has by being down that much, playing that bad, and still being able to win. I think, again, for a lot of Packer fans, that was one of probably the worst loss in their franchise's history. Seeing that go down, because they had obviously earned to win that game. Seattle did not actually really earn that victory, and it was a crazy sequence from the fake punt, and John Ryan threw a good pass. For a punter, he didn't do that bad, and actually at that point, he was probably the best passer in the game. Also, I look at, I thought that was huge just because I think if they didn't get that touchdown, Green Bay would have went on to win that game because their momentum would have been shot. But also, there were just a litany of errors by the Packers. And again, I do think this is a Packers collapse because you can't let a 3rd and 19 get converted. You can't let an onside kick go through your hands. And I know that's the flashpoint that everybody thinks is that's the reason why the game was blown. But there were so many other plays that were incredibly mistakenly obvious, like Morgan Burnett picking the ball off and then just sitting on it. Again, there wasn't 5 seconds left on the clock. There was 5 minutes. There was 5 minutes left in the game, and it just made no sense. At least because he had about 10 or 15 yards ahead of him. Even if he ran it to 10, 15 yards, they could have kept driving and taken off at least a couple minutes and got a field goal out of it. So instead of it being a 6-point, a 16-7, it could have been 19-7 with 3 minutes to go, and I think you would have been able to hold on. And then also, just again, you can't let that idiotic 2-point conversion that failed. That went through because, again, Russell Wilson was running for his life. There was no life in the play. He just chucks it in the air, and Luke Wilson catches it, which was incredibly stupid. And then again, just the last play, you can't let Kearse get that good of a pass, even though you can't do that much better than that. So this is a very bad missed opportunity for the Packers, but congrats with the Seahawks for becoming the first team since the 03-04 Patriots to repeat as Super Bowl champions and get back there next year. And I know for Russell Wilson, that saved his $100 million contract, and it shows how good of a quarterback and how good of a leader that man can be when it really counts. So that's my thoughts on that. And then, of course, as the last couple weeks, as every football fan has gone through, it's been Deflategate. With the New England Patriots beating the Indianapolis Colts 45-7. But nobody has really thought about that. Everybody's been talking about deflated balls. And this is the most I've ever heard those 2 words said in a lifetime. And it's very interesting now that I know the process of inflating the balls and doing all of that stuff. But I'm one of those people that I've followed this story, and I've kind of come to some conclusions, such as I believe that the New England Patriots head coach does seem earnest in this. I think that, it's something where he, again, he gave a much more eloquent response than he usually does. So I do think he is out just because, again, I just know him, and he's just one of those people that doesn't give those kind of responses. But I do believe that Tom Brady, just from what I've heard, and from other quarterbacks, I think he's lying a bit. Just because every quarterback, from what I've heard, Aaron Rodgers likes it a little overinflated. Brad Johnson paid referees to get 100 balls modified. Matt Leinart knows. Troy Aikman, John Madden. everybody's been saying Tom Brady has been lying. And I guess just too many guys have come out and said that. So I don't think Tom Brady is fully telling you. I think he is lying. And again, it's something where I think the New England Patriots, what this scandal did for a lot of fans, that it just re-emphasized that asterisk on their record ever since Spygate. I think for me, that asterisk had started fading away over the last 7 years due to how consistent their record has still been with the quarterback and how they've won. And now they've been to 2 Super Bowls since Spygate. But he now just gave a fresh coat of paint. Because no matter what happens in this game, fans are going to rag on him for winning because they know they cheated. Or they can say you cheated and you didn't have anything to do and you lost. I'll say about that. I'm one of those people that believe that what Bill Belichick has earned now, and I don't think this is going to be on the owner, Robert Kraft, who's done an incredible job owning the New England Patriots for the last 20 years. And I don't think Brady isn't that much of the crosshairs either. I think Bill Belichick is the main person, the culprit here, because now I believe he has officially earned the distinction of being a two-faced individual. I think that if you describe Bill Belichick, people can say he's been consistent. People can say he's professional. People can say that he's classy. People can say that he is an old-school man, pursuit of perfection. And those are all great qualities to have. But at the same time, people can say that he is sly. He is cunning. He is manipulative. He is deceitful. And he is desperate. And I think those are fair things to call him as well. So you're going to have 2 different personas of Bill Belichick, and you really want to know who the true Bill Belichick is. So that's my thoughts on that. You know, I think this is very funny because now the New England Patriots have become the villain in this game. I originally thought going into the game that they were the hero because even though they had been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 5 years, they hadn't won ones in 10 years. Not like Seattle, who's going for a repeat. But now they are the villain, and everybody's rooting for Seattle. And I think it's a very interesting story on that. Then again, I heard Richard Sherman make his comments about Robert Kraft and Roger Goodell. And those are very poignant points due to the fact that, again, Roger Goodell just last week was in Robert Kraft's house. And again, Robert Kraft just seemed to be the biggest supporter of the Roger Goodell era. So for Sherman to make a comment like that, it's pretty, valid, or it's a valid stake to have. I'm not saying I agree with it, but I do understand why he's going. But, those are my thoughts on both the games. Time for my pick. This year, on another channel, I made my Super Bowl prediction. I've done 3 years now. I had Denver and Seattle originally, so I was wrong. But in this game, between the Patriots and the Seahawks, I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks. To win this game. I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks to win this game, just based on that. I believe their defense can get pressure at Tom Brady. I believe Marshawn Lynch will have another decent game on the ground, and I believe Russell Wilson will be able to run very well. I think his feet are going to be the difference. I think Russell Wilson will play a better game than he did in Green Bay, just because he is not that kind of quarterback that plays that bad, that consistently, that often. I also just believe that New England, even though they are playing against a hurt Earl Thomas and a hurt Richard Sherman, and in all honesty, they have the pure better overall team in sense of receivers, tight ends, and everything. I just want to see what I believe that Seattle will use it as motivation to win this game. They know that now they are the heroes and they can do all the trash, but they're going to make plays. And I just see that this team has enough experience and enough kind of fortitude and not as many distractions that they can win this game. Would I be surprised if New England wins this game? No, because it's New England. But I just feel that Seattle, again, these are 2 coaches. They're going, and it's 60-plus years old. First time that's ever happened in the history of the NFL. Also, I think Russell Wilson can break a 256-game streak that Bill Belichick has had, which is, I think he can run for 100 yards. I think he will do it against his Patriot defense. The only other guy, the guy that came closest was Tim Tebow back in Week 15 of 2011. And I just look at Seattle and say they are more physical and they are more tough, and they are going to make the Patriots play a Baltimore-type game, which they do not like to play often. I think Seattle can out-physical them. I think that, and I just think that Brady is going to have one big mistake, or he's going to try one thing, and either Sherman, Thomas, or Chance will make a pick and be the difference. This game should be very competitive, and again, I think everybody's saying New England may be the better team overall, and they are. I just think with all the distractions that New England is having, the confidence Seattle has, and the experience Seattle has, because 32 of those guys coming back from last year are still there. So they've gone through this just a year ago. And knowing what they have at stake, I just think Seattle can win this game. It should be very competitive, and I'll actually give you a score. I will say Seattle wins this game by the final score of 24-20. And yeah, that's it. I think it should be a great game. It's going to be much better than Denver. I think they're going to put up much more of a fight, but I have Seattle winning based on they're a bit more physical. Russell Wilson will be able to make more plays with his feet. They'll get pressure on Brady, and they will win this game just based off that toughness, fortitude, and not as distracted. So that's it. So best of luck to both teams, and everybody enjoy the game. Everybody enjoy the halftime show. Everybody enjoy the commercials. Again, the Super Bowl is a big event for anybody. You know, from media people to average people to football fanatics like me. You know, just enjoy having a good time with friends and family. Even if you're talking or watching a game or watching a commercial, and enjoy the food. That's family food and football is what the Super Bowl is really all about. So, and fun. So, everybody enjoy that this Sunday. And I will be back next week. I'm going to do a wrap-up video and kind of future video. And for all my viewers out there, please send messages or comments to see any other sports topics, NFL topics that you guys would like me to give videos about. I'd love to voice my opinion, and just I want to hear from my viewers. I always love feedback, positive, negative. It's always good to see what I can do for all my viewers out there to improve. So that's it. So until next week, this is Matthew Fanatic signing off. Till then, so long.